What's up, gamers? Welcome back to a freaking new whip of Mewgenics. Today we're fighting the resurrected course of guillotina. This is gonna be epic. What left to talk about now? Perhaps the Weaver. It is, once again, very hot in Europe. It's currently 830 Fahrenheit in my room and I am dripping with all kinds of liquids. Sweet for one, but also gum and blood from the furiously beating off, as well as some pus from the infected wound on my penis that I got from a jacking off accident. It was a very gruesome accident. I was killing and suddenly got hard, so I started drinking it. But it got boring, so I took my favorite serrated sounding rod from my bedside table and started going at it. Now, usually, I have no problem sounding, but since I had been killing, I guess my gut was feeling kinda fragile, so some of my skin tore from the friction. It was very bloody and it hurt like shit, so I took some painkillers and slowly forgot about it. Now it's not painful anymore, so I can't bother going to the doctor or you, so I'm leaving it there, and the pus only acts as a nice lotion for jerking off. The skin around the wound is starting to look blue and it started smelling a bit funky, so I might go to the hospital tomorrow. But the Weaver is killing me. I've got bugs all over my room because I leave my window open all night long for fresh air. I don't like bugs in the first place, and it's getting worse and worse because I've been leaving rotting food all around my place cause I'm too lazy to clean in this heat, and yesterday a bunch of maggots started invading the place. They crawl on me at night and I even woke up to a fly trying to lay eggs in the dead flesh on my cock. I won't even know what to do at this point. I might just move apartment cause this one seems like a lost cause. Anyways, enough with the gross stuff for now. Maybe I could now tell you a story that happened to me recently. Well, not to me per se, but I saw something happen on the street the other that was quite humorous. So, basically, I was just roaming the street at 3 am. I was in the rougher part of town with a lot of city clubs, so the street was buzzing with human activity. For example, a group of teenagers was huffing balloons on the parking lot. A tweaker was knocking the fuck out at a bus stop. A few homeless men were arguing about nothing. A group of frat-type students were talking about all the day tripping they were planning on doing, and so on. Not somewhere you want to be frustrated, but I like to spend time there, probably the only sober person on the block, observing the scenery. Well, I also like to sell drugs to make ends meet, but that's more of a side thing to the people watching. It allows me to get close to many different people and talk to them and get to know them. Anyways, there I was, working when suddenly, a group of darkly toned people started coming from a nicer part of town. They were 5, maybe 6, of varying sizes, though clearly all adults. They were holding their hands close to their chest. They might have been holding something, but their arms were hiding them. At first, they were just standing around on the sidewalk, and they probably would have stood there for longer had they not been interrupted in their standing by a petty street ruffian. The ruffian, thinking that their immobility would make them an easy glory, started sneaking upon the group. He must have noticed a pocket deep in their arms, for he deftly moved his fingers into the raincoat. I, for one, expected them to either not notice and keep standing, or to make a scene and stop the thief. Either of these options could not have been farther from what actually happened. One of the clothed figure did notice the thief prowling around in their arms, and instead of shooing him away, or hitting him, they produced a knife from their arm, and stabbed the ruffian to death. I say knife, but dagger would have been more appropriate. The weapon looked straight out of a high fantasy video game. In fact, the whole group probably would have fit seamlessly in any Lovecraft horror fantasy. Anyways, right after committing this extreme act of violence, the entire group started moving again, walking ever so slowly in the direction of the nightclub. By now, everybody on the street was aware of what happened, and nobody went there to look at them. Not below, because in dark and twisted like that, the bouncer of the club, having witnessed the gruesome scene, let them in the club. I didn't follow them, because it went from this club, so I don't know what happened in there, but they did come out of the club at closing time, exactly how they had come in, and I hear that they just sat in the booth, not drinking, dancing or even talking. It was kind of strange, but maybe when murderous cultists need to let loose once in a while. Honestly, this kind of story is exactly the reason I go out on my nightly working escapades. You just don't see this kind of things happen during the day or at night in the renty neighborhoods. I hadn't really noticed at the time because it was dark, but I actually knew the guy that got killed by the way. He was a good friend actually. We had met in high school and didn't really mesh back then, but we met again recently when I found him with his hand deeply buried in my pockets. He was messy, so I didn't recognize him at first, but to punish him for trying to pick my pockets, I made him suck my cock, and when he removed his mask, I recognized him. After I came, I bought him a drink, and it was a really nice hang. Since then, we kept in contact and started hanging out. But I guess it's over now, which kind of sucks. He was a real outstanding dude. Gave a mean glory as well. Well, anyways, I feel like we're going to be able to beat this zombie cat spottom and send it back to ashes, which is an awesome gamer moment. There's an awful lot of maggots on the field right now. It's starting to look like my house now. We persevere though. Also, I hope you enjoyed the first episode of the Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play. I'm feeling myself getting sucked into this game by the menu, and it's awesome. I don't know if I've said it already, but it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I've been wanting to make a Let's Play of it for a while now, so this is nice. Future episodes are going to be coming out on Tuesdays and Thursdays probably, if I can keep up. Otherwise it's only going